FBI agent Sean Archer is spending some quality time with his young son Michael on a carousel. But watching from a nearby hill with a sniper rifle in hand is Castor Troy, a dangerous terrorist wanted all over the world. Castor carefully takes aim at Archer, waiting for the perfect shot before pulling the trigger. The bullet rips through Archer's back, and he tumbles off the ride, only to realize that the shot also hit his son, killing him instantly. Castor himself is shocked by what just happened, but there's no taking it back. Meanwhile, Archer is left grieving over the terrible loss. Fast forward 6 years. Archer has dedicated every moment since that tragic day to tracking down Castor. His obsession with revenge has taken a toll on his life and relationships. And at work, he's frustrated with his team for not having solid intel on Castor's next move. Meanwhile, Castor sneaks into the Los Angeles Convention Center, disguised as a minister, and assembles a powerful bomb named Sinclair. Back at the FBI office, Archer gets a tip that Castor's brother, Pollux Troy, just booked a private jet. Since Pollux never flies without his brother, Archer quickly arranges for an undercover agent to board the plane. As Archer is focused on his mission, his wife tries to call him, but he brushes it off. His work comes first. Over at a local airstrip, Pollux impatiently waits with his associates Leo and Lars. They finally breathe easy when Castor arrives. Once aboard, the brothers are greeted by Winters, the undercover agent, who secretly signals law enforcement that their target is on board. Moments later, sirens wail as police cars and a helicopter surround the runway. Castor, never one to be caught off guard, smirks as he sees Archer leading the charge. Winters pulls her gun to keep him in check, but Pollux takes her down before she can act. Without hesitation, Castor kills Winters, taunting Archer as he does. Furious, Archer jumps into a helicopter and slams it into the plane, forcing Castor to take desperate measures. He kills the pilot and tries to take control, but with the jet unable to take off, the brothers start shooting at the cops. In the chaos, Pollux gets captured, but Castor doesn't stick around to help. He ditches his brother and runs for his life, hiding inside a bunker. A final showdown with Archer ends with Castor getting knocked into a turbine blast, knocking him unconscious. The authorities assume he's dead. Back home, Archer returns to his wife, Eve, and daughter, Jamie, but their family dynamic is strained. He's been too consumed by work to be there for them. The next day, Archer and his team analyze Pollux's personal files, discovering details about the Sinclair bomb. It's a biological weapon that could wipe out thousands in Los Angeles. The problem? Pollux is the only one who knows the exact location of the bomb, and he would never talk to anyone but his brother. That's when Miller, one of Archer's colleagues, takes him to a secret medical facility, where Archer gets the shock of his life. Castor is actually alive, but in a coma, completely at their mercy. Miller and Dr. Walsh propose a wild idea, surgically altering Archer to look and sound exactly like Castor. That way, he can infiltrate Eruhan prison, where Pollux is locked up, and get the intel they need. The procedure involves swapping faces, adjusting his body, and even altering his vocal cords. Archer thinks the plan is crazy and refuses. Instead, he tries interrogating Castor's old associates, but no one spills any useful info. He even questions Castor's ex-girlfriend, Sasha, and her brother Dietrich, but they haven't seen Castor in years. Out of options, Archer finally agrees to the surgery, though he's not allowed to tell his boss or even his own wife. After saying goodbye to his family, the procedure begins. Castor's face is surgically removed and placed onto Archer, completing the transformation. When Archer wakes up, he's horrified to see his reflection. He now wears the face of the man he despises most. Despite the panic, Miller and Tito reassure him, and soon he's fitted with a microchip to match Castor's voice. With only 6 days until the bomb detonates, he enters Eruhan prison. Inside, Archer, now looking like Castor, quickly gets Pollux's attention. But before he can get too far, another inmate, Ivan, picks a fight. Turns out Castor had slept with both Ivan's wife and sister. Archer manages to survive the brawl, but the warden makes it clear that no one leaves this place easily. Meanwhile, back at the secret medical lab, the real Castor Troy wakes up. His face is completely gone, leaving only raw muscle, and the pain is unbearable. Still, he manages to contact his men, Leo and Lars, who waste no time rescuing him. Castor forces Dr. Walsh to perform the same surgery on him, swapping Archer's face onto his own. With the procedure complete, Castor now walks around as Archer, blending seamlessly into his enemy's life. He kills Dr. Walsh and erases all evidence of the face-swapping procedure. Now, no one can prove Archer's true identity. Back at the prison, Archer finally gets Pollux to reveal where the bomb is hidden. But just as he prepares to escape, his whole world flips upside down. Castor, now wearing Archer's face, shows up. The real Castor taunts him, making it clear that the mission has completely backfired. Since this whole operation was kept secret, Castor has the upper hand. If he eliminates a few key people, Archer could be stuck in prison forever, trapped in another man's identity. Archer, furious, lunges at Castor, but guards rush in and separate them. Meanwhile, Castor wastes no time slipping into Archer's life. He visits Eve, charms her, and settles into Archer's home like he belongs there. He even reads Eve's diary, learning personal details about their relationship. Later, he catches Jamie smoking in her room and asks for her secret stash, confusing her with his sudden shift in behavior. Castor tricks his own brother into thinking he's still on his side and manages to get him out of prison. When they're alone, away from the cameras, he finally tells Pollux the truth, that he's actually Archer in disguise. He then orders Pollux to spill everything about the bomb to the cops. Castor's goal isn't really about the explosion anymore. He just wants to ruin Archer's life. So, playing the hero, he leads a bomb squad to the convention center. The problem is, the bomb is locked with a security pin that will take forever to bypass. But, in a dramatic last-second move, Castor enters the right pin and deactivates the bomb. The media hails him as a savior, and soon, the news reaches Archer. Stuck in prison and watching his enemy take over his life, he feels trapped and desperate. Determined to escape, Archer figures out that the prison's electric shock treatment will temporarily disable his boots. He picks a fight with a guard on purpose and gets dragged to the medical ward. On the way, he runs into Ivan and convinces him that he never actually slept with anyone from his family. Ivan decides to help Archer, attacking the guards and creating a distraction. A gunfight breaks out, and Ivan ends up taking down the control room security. Archer uses the opportunity to hack the system and overload the security grid. Just when it seems like they're in the clear, the warden shows up and kills Ivan. But before he can kill Archer, the other inmates turn on him, beating him to death. Archer makes a run for it, but that's when he realizes the prison is actually a massive oil platform in the middle of the ocean. A helicopter appears overhead. With no other choice, Archer takes a leap into the water. When he doesn't resurface, everyone assumes he drowned. But Castor isn't so sure. He suspects Archer is still alive and coming for him. Meanwhile, Archer washes up on shore, exhausted but alive. He tries to call Eve, but she doesn't recognize his voice and hangs up. With nowhere else to go, he decides to track down Castor's supplier, Dietrich, and heads to his penthouse. There, he's welcomed by a wild party full of Castor's old acquaintances, who have no idea who he really is. Back at Archer's home, Castor is settling into his stolen life. He watches Jamie's boyfriend drop her off outside and notices the guy getting too aggressive. Furious, Castor steps in and beats him up, sending him away. Jamie is confused but also strangely drawn to this version of her father, who suddenly seems more protective and involved. She confesses that she still hasn't gotten over her brother's death and resents her father for being so absent. Castor plays along, giving her a knife and teaching her how to defend herself in case she ever needs to. At Dietrich's place, Archer wakes up to find Sasha, Castor's old flame, making a move on him. He panics and pushes her away, unaware that Pollux is watching from a rooftop across the street. Pollux immediately calls Castor to report what he's seen. Meanwhile, Archer learns that Sasha has a son, Adam, whom Castor has never acknowledged. She's just trying to raise him right and keep him away from a life of crime. Seeing Adam reminds Archer of his own lost son, and he accidentally calls him by his real son's name. Now that Castor knows where Archer is hiding, he sends an FBI SWAT team to Dietrich's place. Chaos erupts as grenades are launched and bullets fly. Archer's only concern is getting Sasha and Adam to safety, so he puts headphones on the kid to block out the noise of the gunfire. The battle rages on, with heavy losses on both sides. Eventually, Archer, Sasha, Adam, and Dietrich regroup, but Castor corners them, aiming his gun at Archer. Sasha and Adam don't recognize him with Castor's face, but it doesn't matter. Castor doesn't hesitate to shoot. When Sasha tries to move, Dietrich takes the bullet for her and dies. Archer chases Castor, and the two exchange gunfire. Archer suggests they switch faces back, but Castor refuses. The fight intensifies, and Archer takes a bullet. As the standoff continues, an FBI agent named Loomis arrives, forcing Archer to retreat up a stairwell. Meanwhile, Pollux and Archer come face to face on the rooftop. In the scuffle, Pollux ends up falling to his death. Castor is devastated and, in a fit of rage, shoots Loomis in the face. The next morning, Castor returns to his office, still mourning his brother. Director Lazaro confronts him about all the unnecessary deaths from the previous night. Castor, no longer bothering to keep up his disguise, reveals his true identity before knocking Lazaro to the ground. He then delivers a brutal punch to his chest, stopping his heart and making it look like a sudden fatal attack. Meanwhile, Archer sneaks into his own home and finds Eve. He desperately tries to explain what's happened, but she doesn't believe him. To convince her, he tells her to check Castor's blood type. It's different from his own. Later that night, Eve secretly takes a blood sample from Castor and rushes to the hospital. When the test results confirm what Archer said, she's left in shock. Just then, Archer arrives at the hospital. Eve, still unsure, pulls a gun on him. But when he reminds her of their first kiss and tells her details only the real Archer would know, she finally believes him. Before they can act, Castor shows up with Leo and Lars, having figured out that Eve knows the truth. Thinking fast, she pretends to be on call for an emergency and dodges his suspicion for now. The next day, Archer and Sasha show up at Lazaro's funeral, where Castor is holding Eve and Jamie hostage. Sasha secretly hands Archer a gun, choosing to side with him for the sake of avenging her brother's death. A massive gunfight breaks out, leaving all of Castor's henchmen, including Sasha, dead. In the chaos, Jamie picks up a gun and shoots at Archer, thinking he's Castor. But she quickly realizes her mistake when Castor grabs her, licks her face, and takes her hostage. Castor makes his escape, stealing a boat and speeding off. Archer gives chase, leading to an intense high-speed boat battle. Eventually, both their boats are destroyed, and the fight continues on land. In the final showdown, Archer finally kills Castor with a spear gun. With his dying breath, Castor mutilates his own face to prevent Archer from taking it back. Once the dust settles, Eve convinces the FBI of Archer's true identity. He undergoes surgery to restore his face, and in the final scene, he brings Adam home, welcoming him into the family as his own son.